We are going to simplify trigonometric expressions using different identities. So we're going to start with the fundamental identities and we'll work our way all the way up to sum and difference formulas. So let's start with the fundamental identities. Fundamental identities. Now all of these identities that I'm going to be giving you, you want to create flashcards and you want to have them memorized. Even if you were going to be given these identities on a test, let's say, it's going to be much more difficult for you to work through the problems if you don't know the identities. So even if someone hands them to you on a piece of paper and says, here you go, you can use all the identities. In order to use them, you have to be familiar with them. So I highly recommend that if you want to be successful, that you will study these identities and know them without having to have them given to you on a piece of paper or on a note card. Okay. The first ones we're going to talk about are the reciprocal identities. So the reciprocal identities, sine of theta is equal to 1 over cosecant of theta. So on a note card, I would put reciprocal in the upper left-hand corner, and I would put sine of theta in the middle of the card, and on the back side of the card, I would put the fraction 1 over cosecant of theta. And I would do that on all of these. The cosine of theta is 1 over the secant of theta. The tangent of theta is equal to 1 over the cotangent of theta. And there's 3 more. The cosecant of theta is equal to 1 over the sine of theta. The secant of theta is equal to 1 over the cosine of theta. And the cotangent of theta is equal to 1 over tangent of theta. You might think, well, this is pretty easy. I don't need to write these down because I think I've got it, just writing it down once. But when we put it together with all the other ones that you need to learn, you'll probably be happy that you studied them. Then we have quotient identities. The quotient identities, there's 2 of those. The tangent of theta is equal to the sine of theta divided by the cosine of theta. Now this is really important that on the front side of this flashcard you write quotient in the upper left-hand corner and then tangent of theta in the middle, and then on the back side you write the fraction sine of theta over cosine of theta. And then the same thing with the cotangent of theta. The cotangent of theta is equal to cosine of theta divided by sine of theta, or you could say cosine of theta over sine of theta. So far you've got 8 more flashcards that you've added to your stack of flashcards. We're going to be adding some more. So now we have our Pythagorean identities. So in the upper left-hand corner, you're going to write Pythagorean. And on the front side, you're going to write sine squared of theta plus cosine squared of theta. And then on the back side, 1. Sine squared of theta plus cosine squared of theta is equal to 1. There's another one. 1 plus tangent squared of theta is equal to secant squared of theta. And then a third one, 1 plus cotangent squared of theta is equal to cosecant squared of theta. So there's 3 more. And all 3 of those flashcards say Pythagorean in the upper left-hand corner. And then we have 6 more. These are cofunction identities. We've got the sine, the sine of pi over 2 minus theta is equal to the cosine of theta. So the upper left-hand corner of the flashcard, you'll put cofunction. Then in the middle, you'll put sine pi over 2 minus theta, and on the back side, cosine of theta. cosine of pi over 2 minus theta is equal to the sine of theta. The tangent of pi over 2 minus theta is equal to the cotangent of theta. The cotangent of pi over 2 minus theta is equal to the tangent of theta. And then you're right, we have two more. Cosecant of pi over 2 minus theta is equal to the secant of theta. And the secant of pi over 2 minus theta is equal to the cosecant of theta. So sine and cosine are cofunctions, cotangent and tangent are cofunctions, secant and cosecant are cofunctions. So we've got those fundamental identities. We've got just a few more, and then we'll be able to start simplifying. So the few that we have left are called even and odd identities. So in the upper left-hand corner, we put even, odd, and then in the middle of the flashcard, sine of negative theta, and on the back side of that flashcard, negative sine of theta, odd. Cosecant of negative theta is equal to negative cosecant of theta. That negative comes out of the input and it makes the entire function negative, and that is also an odd function. The cosine of negative theta is equal to the cosine of theta. That is an even function, and its reciprocal function follows suit. Secant of negative theta is the same as the secant of theta, and that is an even function. So far we have two odd functions and two even functions. The tangent of negative theta is equal to the opposite of the tangent of theta. So that follows the same guidelines that sine follows, making it an odd function, and the same is true with the cotangent. The cotangent of negative theta is the opposite of the cotangent of theta. That is odd. So sometimes I'll group this by odd functions, and I'll say sine of theta, sine of negative theta equals negative sine of theta. Cosecant of negative theta is negative cosecant of theta. Tangent of negative theta is equal to negative tangent of theta. And cotangent of negative theta is negative cotangent of theta. And then I might say even. That's going to be cosine of negative theta is equal to cosine of theta. And secant of negative theta is equal to secant of theta. And those are our even and odd functions. Let's get a pretty blue here. Here, I'm going to bubble this because it's easier for me to bubble. So you might, if you're going to use the one that I just bubbled, on the front side of your flashcard, you might put in the upper left-hand corner odd, and then do the sine, cosecant, tangent, and cotangent, and then two more flashcards with, in the upper left-hand corner, even, and then cosine and secant would be each their individual flashcards. Now, take the time to make those flashcards now before you do the next few videos, okay? That's what I would do, so that you can do the next few videos and really follow along with me. Otherwise, you might get lost in how to simplify. It's going to be pretty difficult to simplify if you're just looking at the paper that you just wrote down these fundamental identities on. It's doable, but it would be more helpful if you could study them first. So however you want to best study for them, you can definitely do that.